Good morning, day 2 out here in the Smokies, and I'm on the long, hungry trail right now. Still going down, but got about a mile or so to a 20-mile trail. The rest of this trail is gently sloping downward, and eventually it's going to turn into an old railroad grade from the old the old logging company. So it's easy now, and it's going to get easier down to 20 mile. And then on to 20 mile, doing a stretch that I've done. Did it earlier this spring, as a matter of fact. And then I'm heading over to up and over Sassafras Gap and to campsite 90, one of the best in the Smokies. I'll show you that when I get there. This should be a nice, relaxing morning. Got a chance of rain, pretty much like it was yesterday, like it will every day I'm here. That is the Smokies. It's a temperate rainforest, so expect to get rain. Today should be another great day. Not only campsite 90, but from there I'm on to the Lakeshore Trail. Basically, I'll finish up the Lakeshore Trail section. Not only when I do that, I'll also finish up the entire BMT in the Smokies. So I'm excited about that. And I'm at campsite 74, I think. So today should be pretty straight shot. Once I get to Lakeshore the rest of the day. And it looks like I'm on the railroad grade right now. Wide open, rhododendron on both sides. Nice, cool, misty morning. Here at Proctor Field, the junction with the 20-mile trail. So I go left here, I believe, but I will double check. 20-mile trail. Now it's 1.7 up to Sassafras Gap and the Lost Cove Trail. Just taking a little break here on my way up to Sassafras Gap. Had a little run-in earlier. Just randomly stopped on the trail just for a little break. Catch my breath. Wanted to wipe the sweat. Starting to go uphill a little bit. And I stopped, reached into my pocket for my bandana. And I look over to my left. Sure enough, just in the ground is a yellow jacket nest. I'm looking at it thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. I could probably get a nice picture of that. And I can hear the activity start to just get more. Thinking, oh, maybe I'm too close. I should probably move. And I start to walk, and sure enough, felt a bite, shall we say, on my thigh, my inner thigh, nonetheless. And needless to say, I hightailed it out of there, and it helped me get up the hill a little faster. I'll tell you that. But I looked at it a little later. It looks like I got 2 little stings. So just a lesson: don't be too close to a yellow jacket nest. I'll be all right, though. It's not too bad. So just a little bit left, almost to Sassafras Gap. My good friend, the AT, we meet again. But not today. But tomorrow, we'll meet back up at Klingman's Dome. How's that? Great to see you again. And I'm off on the Lost Cove Trail. 3.1 to campsite 90. All downhill, if I remember. here at campsite 91. Very nice campsite. Just up and away from the creek. Lots of open, flat areas. Not bad. I think the only thing against it is that it's pretty close to campsite 90. So we're coming up on that. It's just a little while down here, 3/4 mile maybe. At the junction with the Lakeshore Trail. That goes to Fontana Dam, but I'm going this way to campsite 90. I'm back on the Benton MacKaye and the Lakeshore Trail to start it off. Now I'll be on the Lakeshore Trail for the rest of the day. People ask me a lot, you know, what's the best waterproof shoe for the trail? And I always say the same thing. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. Depends on the hiking that you do. But for me, there's no doubt about it. I look for not something that's waterproof, it's something that can dry quickly. And that's basically true for everything. I want a shirt that can get wet and then dry quickly. Shorts, socks, underwear, the whole thing. Anything, my hat even. Something can get wet, but it can dry quickly. Because, especially in the Smokies, it's gonna get wet. Of course, I like to wear trail runners when I hike. I used to wear big boots over my ankle. I used to use mid tops or whatever they're called. Different ones. But I absolutely prefer the trail runners. But the key to that is not carrying very much weight. The more weight you carry, the bigger shoe you're going to need. You're going to need that ankle support. You're going to need that cushion. You're going to need everything. So that ties into just getting lighter in general. I think everyone's sort of weight is an own personal preference. I know I like to have it as light as possible. It makes it more fun, more challenging, more adventurous, but it also relies more on skill and knowledge, taking a lot of different things into consideration, especially camp setup, things like that. But again, adds to the challenge. I enjoy that. It's one of the reasons I'm out here. But it also adds to the pleasure because, and I notice this as I get older, you know, it's harder on the knees and the feet, the ankles. So I can up my enjoyment level by lowering my weight level. So, ultralight backpacking tip number 2. Lakeshore Trail turns here, heads down to campsite 90, and there's a trail that goes that way. That just goes to a canoe put-in kind of area. Just goes to the shore. So we're gonna come down here to campsite 90, and the trail, I believe, just goes through it. It already looks a lot different. The fire ring looks buried under the water. So last time I was here, there was definitely a creek, stream, but now it's just a lake. Pretty nice to see it a couple different times of the year. This is the junction with Eagle Creek Trail. This is one of my most anticipated trails. It runs down the backside of the Smokies on the North Carolina side. There's the main watersheds there are Eagle Creek, Hazel Creek, and Forney Creek. I've been down most of Forney, most of Hazel, and none of Eagle, but it's got a lot of water crossings. It can be really treacherous during high water, and it sounds exciting. But I'm sticking on the Lakeshore for this one. Just another climb in the Smokies. Just passing campsite 88. Looks like a nice, small, quaint creekside campsite. Well, I like to keep these videos honest, and I'll be honest with you. I messed up yet again. It happens. So more on that here in a minute. I want to show something that I see a lot in the Smokies. You're walking down the trail and you see one of these signs, and in this case, steps. Sometimes it's just an established trail, or sometimes it looks exactly like the trail you're on. But typically, those lead to cemeteries. That one goes up to, I believe, Proctor Hill. But a lot of people get mixed up and they take that and realize it's not going anywhere and they're not on the right map. So just a heads up, Smokies tip number 1.
This is the house of Granville Calhoun. He was a guide for Horace Kephart and was also a part of the bear hunting party that Kephart talks about in his book, Our Southern Highlanders.
At the junction with the Hazel Creek Trail, but I'm sticking on the Lakeshore Trail. I do have a few miles to complete the Hazel Creek Trail, so I'll be back for that one day. But more on my mistake. So my big mistake is basically misreading the map. There was a mile notation that I missed. I thought this section was 12.3. In reality, it's 21 miles. So I'm not going to be able to make up that difference today. That means I'm going to have to change my plans a little bit, which is a little tough in the Smokies because of the reservations. So I hope the Park Service understands and forgives me if I don't camp at my reserved space. I'll try to get there, but we'll see how far I get. I do have a couple of options. I'll have to look at those as I move on. But I've got to get going now. Just crossed Hazel Creek. There was even a sign when I got here. It says Forney Creek, 21 miles. So, 21 miles, here I go. I don't know, another adventure of my own making. But definitely need to be able to adapt. I'm confident in my skills and I'm confident with where I am. So I'll be fine. It'll just be a little different than I thought. Got to roll with the river, or in this case, Hazel Creek. We're coming into Campsite number 77. And I may be staying here tonight. It's about, I don't know, 5:45, something like that. I'm gonna consult the map, see what I wanna do. All right, let's find a place to set up the tarp. I'm gonna walk you through this site and my site location, my methodology, if you will. So this site has 2 fire rings, 1 set of bear cables. So I'm gonna use the far fire ring, I know that for sure, mainly because it looks better. There's a lot more sort of seating and table area, so it's gonna be more functional, and there's also firewood already there, at least to start. So I know that for sure. Fire ring's gonna be down there. I want my tarp far away because that's gonna be my fire, if I have one, and more importantly, my cooking area. So starting at the far end, have a little site right here that's kind of worn down a little bit, but it's pretty weedy, tall, grassy. Not the best, I don't think. But what I do want is some something underneath. I don't want, I'll show you here, stay away from some of these bare spots. I don't know if you can see that. There's really no leaf litter on top. Even over here is just a little better. But still, if it rains, that rain doesn't penetrate that. It just pools up. And a lot of this campsite is that. So this grassy area over here looks promising. I do like this. It's nice and flat. A little bit of grass. That works. I thought about that one. This has just more leaf debris, but enough of it built up that I think that's pretty good. My favorite one was this one. I hate to kind of trample some of these plants, but it's nice, really flat area right there. But there are those plants, so. But I finally decided, I love pine trees so much. There's a nice buildup of pine duff and a nice, really flat area right underneath here. So if it does rain, this will shelter me even a little bit more. Very nice, and I'm far enough away from the cooking area and the bare cables for that matter. So perfect. All right, time to set up. Anymore, I like to go ultralight, not for the street cred or the title or anything like that, but to make the trip better. Better on my knees, better on my legs. That makes it better, for sure. So this is one of the keys right here for me. I don't bring a camp chair. I try to find a log or a rock, or if all else fails, just the ground. Ultralight backpacking tip number 2. Well, today here in the Smokies did not turn out how I had planned. But tomorrow is a new day, and I've got a new plan, and I'm going to make it happen. So join me as I head up to Siler's Bald on the AT and explore more of the Smoky Mountains.